All right, and we're live, I hope. Looks like we are.
Too.
So we're testing out Restream tonight. That's something new for me. Trying to figure out a better way to do this whole interweb thing and add guests like our friend Robert here. Our friend, your friend, the man who will be standing over the smoking ruins of the Nerdpocalypse. How you doing tonight?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Ask me about a couple beers and I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's been a week.
I hear you.
It seems to be the norm these days. I'm not seeing much going on in the chat, so double check. Yeah, looks like everything should be running. We'll give it a minute and just see if anybody trickles in. But at this point, I can't really tell. It's one thing about this is I feel like I'm kind of flying blind because I can't tell who's actually on or not other than us.
Right.
But it's a thing.
Yeah, let me check.
All right.
I'll check on YouTube here. Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, because my system gets wiggy if I try to pull it up from here. But, well, how are things going with the Nerdpocalypse? I saw you did a piece earlier today.
I was just about target slashing their web stuff, and it was, I mean, it was bound to happen.
Yeah, the box stores in general, they really have a hard time keeping up with online stores, especially
Right.
with, like you said in your piece, the convenience, the pricing, sometimes just getting stuff sent to your door, being able to get exactly what you want without having to go through the huddled masses yearning for Black Friday.
Right. I mean, if you've been watching Target for the past 2 years, I mean, the clearance like no time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been to a Target. I think there's one in Guatemala City, but it's several hours away from me, so it's not convenient.
Exactly.
So most of the time, for normal adult stuff, I just go to the local stores here. But for toy stuff, I've been depending heavily on places like Big Bad because they do minimal shipping, and anything that has to be imported here, I'm paying tariffs, and they suck, and they're not related to reality. It's basically like the municipality or government or whomever handles importing of stuff said, well, there's things going on in the world, so we're just going to jack the prices on anything being imported.
So do you still pay just $4?
I do from there. I think is it 4 or 8? Is it 4?
It's 4.
Yeah, yeah, I do, but that goes to a warehouse I have in Miami. So I have an American address that everything just gets drop shipped to. Then I have to get it from the warehouse to Guatemala City. Then in Guatemala City, they tariff and tax my butt, and then it comes down here to Flores, which is several hours away. So it's a whole thing. I've looked at a couple of different ways to do shipping, but Guatemala just is not an easy place to mail things to.
I would imagine.
We don't even have a mail service anymore. When I first moved here, you could actually mail a letter, but the post office went belly up. I guess about 4 or 5 years after I was here, they just decided it's not worth it. Nobody uses it anymore. Everybody uses the internet, so we're not going to fund it.
We're almost like that in the States.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the post office is heavily subsidized in the States as well. But, sometimes there are things you just need to mail.
Right. Exactly.
But with, places like FedEx and DHS handling things now, I don't know. It's days are numbered, like, many things. So, but yeah, that's the kerfuffle I get with having to do this kind of stuff. Hey, there's a guy.
Hello.
That's the Epic Badger. Good to see you again, sir. We're people are finding us. We're at a different time, different place, trying to hold different system, so it'll be a little slow for people to wander in. But yeah, let's see what we got on our agenda for the evening. I made up some fun stuff. I'm trying some themes. Last week we went over the glory days of heroes, talking about the things that led from the golden to the silver age. Some really good stories from both DC and Marvel that kind of highlighted some of the best stories of a bygone era. Sadly, a lot of those great writers are no more, either kicked out because they didn't have the right political leanings, or they've just passed on from this mortal coil. They're just not around anymore.
Right.
Finding good stories, sadly, is not as easy as it used to be.
Oh, no, it's not.
But one that I have always appreciated is stories dealing with the classic original Robin, Dick Grayson. So that was kind of the theme I went with for tonight. So, yeah, we'll talk about why Robin matters, and he does. We'll talk about The Gauntlet, which is a really good story, talking about one of his first trials to becoming Robin. Robin Year One. Chuck Dixon did a really good job on that one. Then we'll talk about a couple of resources for folks who are looking to get into their comics and do it in a highfalutin way. We've got DC High Volume, which is an audio podcast going through a lot of great Batman stories. Many include Robin. And zipcomic.com, which is a great place to check out comics online, kind of try before you buy kind of thing. So we'll go through that. And then do a little drinking and thinking. I got a question for the audience, and we'll see what they have to say about it. But let's see if we can roll through here. Yeah. Figured I'd bring back the Infinite playlist slightly, and going with our theme tonight. It is Robin related, kind of, sort of, but one of the unsung and I think underrated comic adaptations into cartoons was the 2004 series The Batman. A little bit edgier style than what Bruce Timm gave us, and Robin doesn't actually show up in the story until one of the last few seasons. But this
I wondered about this because I didn't even realize Robin appeared in this series.
Yeah, I think towards the fifth or sixth season he shows up.
Oh wow!
So it's a definite retcon or a different look at the story, but it's really well done, I thought. And again, yeah, a lot of people kind of slept on it, but the art style is kind of different. They were going for something a little edgier, but still, kid friendly, sort of.
I like the series. It was just I'm trying to think how to word this. It was like if it was on, I'd watch it, but if I wouldn't seek it out.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I thought the way they did Alfred and Bruce was well done, at least in the first couple seasons. And then later on, it definitely became more, they were trying to, it was kind of like a happy medium between Batman 66 and, something Schumacher would have put together. They were trying to find their audience. But the first two series, I would say, I really enjoyed. And that was when they had this theme that was actually done by this guy. If I can pull up the slide here.
I didn't know. I saw the slide. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So he composed and performed this theme, and I put a link in the description of this video so you guys can go give it a listen yourself. It's kind of interesting. A lot of people have taken this theme and dubbed it over footage of the Pattinson The Batman, and it actually kind of works because it's more of a darker noir kind of flavor to it. It's not your punchy, campy 66 kind of style. So I like the song, and of course,
Yeah.
YouTube is no stranger to Batman. So, again, tying into our theme tonight, Robin does show up in this, and I liked his portrayal in this. You know, kind of a sleeker, younger, much more circus acrobat kind of Robin. But back in the day, we got Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me, Lick Me, Spank Me by YouTube. U2, not YouTube.
Yeah, and that was a believe it or not, that was a pretty big song.
Yeah, I liked it. It was an earworm for quite a while. I liked it better than Kiss from a Rose.
Oh yeah, that one drove me crazy.
Yeah, it's like, I don't need a love ballad with my Batman.
Right.
I could have done without the whole Chase Meridian thing, honestly. You know, but this was our first live action Robin since Burt Ward. So,
Right.
you know, I remember I really enjoyed parts of the movie. It was definitely a big departure from what we got with the first two films.
I think I was
more
the
color.
only person in the theater who laughed when Chris O'Donnell said, "Holy rusted metal."
Yeah, even Batman looked at him like,
Holy
"What?
rusted metal."
It's got holes in it." Yeah.
Yeah, it's got
You know, it had its detractors. He was kind of old for the part of a boy wonder. I mean, he was practically 30.
Yeah, he was almost the same age as Val Kilmer.
Yeah. So, I mean, parts of it worked, parts of it, you know, you could have done without the whole Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face. He was superfluous to the story. Just give us
a part. I really thought he could have been a really good Two-Face.
He could have. But he was phoning it in. I mean, he's said in other interviews it was just a paycheck. He didn't care.
Right.
You know, and he and Carrie did not get along.
I'd imagine not.
Yeah. So better have just given us a solid Riddler story, and then if they wanted to do Two-Face, do that as a solo. Trying to cram too many villains and things into one story, it never works. It barely worked with Batman Returns. But there, you know, Penguin was pretty much the villain, and the Catwoman was just kind of a wrinkle in the story. But still, there's a lot of characters to juggle, and Schumacher didn't figure that out either.
Yeah, and I think for a little while, superhero films got this mentality. We gotta have two villains, and it barely ever works.
Yeah, and I think that's where Gunn got off the wrong foot. Again, starting with a big ensemble cast instead of just giving us a straight Superman. But, you know, for what it is, it was good. So those are my infinite playlist picks for this week. I've been kind of having those on in the background to kind of get in the Robin vibe.
Gotcha.
But new walkabout this week. I'm not going to play it because it's just been problematic trying to run that through the live show, but it is up on the site. A lot of folks have already seen it. Go check it out if you're interested.
I found it to be very entertaining.
Cool. Yeah, I'm trying to line up some interviews. I've got a couple people who it's hard to find folks that are not camera shy or who are willing to do an interview. So I've got I'm working on it. It's just a matter of trying to get people to get comfortable, and me trying to get comfortable trying to do the whole interview thing with the camera. It doesn't come naturally. Well, excuse me, but that's on the agenda. So, yeah, we'll just dive right in here. Let's say hi to our buddy Johnny Sorensen. Good to see you. He's at work with the sound off, so he's doing some lip reading. So no gang signs. Okay. We don't want to get him in trouble at work. So our buddy Dick Grayson. Most of us who consider ourselves Gen Xers have had a long relationship with the character. And, for me, it started really young. I wasn't there in 1940. But a lot of folks don't realize Batman was not around for a long time before Robin showed up. Only like 11 issues of Detective.
Right.
So maybe a year. You know, his introduction's been kind of retconned over the years, and technically Robin shows up in Batman Year 3, but he was there pretty quick.
Yes, he was. I've read some of the reprints of the old issues. Yeah, I was surprised how quickly he came in.
Yeah. And I think, there were a lot of things that had to do, they were trying to soften the tone. They were trying to keep from having problems with parents. The whole dark tone of the earlier pulp stories kind of flavored a lot of the early comics that we got. And then they decided, well, we need to make this more of a general all audience kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so while Bob Kane usually gets the lion's share of the credit, it was actually Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson who had more to do with us getting Robin and the Joker and a lot of the other things that we associate with Batman. But, yeah.
Well, we'll talk about Joker 2 was supposed to lighten the mood.
Yeah, he was definitely not as dark as he became later.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, 1940, when that all kicked off, and the biggest reason why the publishers felt like they needed a sidekick is they wanted to give a character that we could relate to as kids reading.
Mm-hmm.
We were Robin. Having someone who could feed off of what was going on, kind of like what Watson is to Holmes, so that, your main character isn't just monologuing all the time. He's got someone he's actually talking to and moving the plot along. So,
and that's the other thing is that it allows for a little bit more dynamic and more natural. Like, you got to explain something. You don't want, how do you position it? Well, yeah, the kid not in what's going on.
Exactly. So, and I think the way it's been explained a lot of times, people who were writing the comics, their mindset was, well, most folks reading this can't identify with Batman. He's too dark, he's too driven, but they could see themselves being the sidekick.
Right.
That was kind of the thing. And yeah, I'd agree with that for the most part. Growing up, my first introduction to the whole superhero thing was, like a lot of kids, was, mostly cartoon stuff. But as you probably well know, Bob Kane was a jerk.
I've heard this many times.
Yeah, it's a whole rabbit hole. I won't go too deep into it today, but yeah, his initial design and idea for Batman was a far cry from what we actually got. He would have had him in a bright red suit with, cheesy wing pack, and yeah, it was bad. So, it was actually Bill Finger who did the heavy lifting, along with many other guys who never got any credit. But Bob Kane was very quick to always tell people, yeah, I created Batman. It's like, yeah, kind of, sort of you did. So, I don't know why, but DC just let him do that for decades. But that is another story. We talked about New Frontier last week, and one of the points that I really liked was, even though Darwin Cook had his hands full taking everything from the end of the Golden Age, everything going on in the Cold War, the space race, all kinds of crazy stuff, somehow he even worked in explaining why there was a shift in the way Batman looked and the idea of having a sidekick. And he actually made it part of the story, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, New Frontier does a lot of that.
Oh, there's so much good stuff and little nods to great things about the DC universe. Hey, Mudhorn Station's popping in. Mana, good to see you.
Have you ever seen the animated version of this? Of New Frontier?
Yes.
I thought it was pretty good, too.
Yeah. Most of the DC animated films, I think, are better than the live action, in my opinion. And Darwin Cook's New Frontier, I think, was one of the better ones. Definitely. They captured the art style, and Darwin Cook was involved in the making of the film, too.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of folks don't realize he started. Well, while he was a comics writer and artist, he was really mostly working in animation before he got big into the comics.
Oh.
He had worked with Bruce Timm. He did a little bit of work on Batman the Animated Series. He also worked on Batman Beyond. A lot of the designs in that was heavily Darwin Cook. And they had a similar style, so they complemented one another. But yeah, the scene where Batman is saving a kid that's been kidnapped by occultists. He jumps in and says, basically he figures out that he is not only terrifying criminals, but he's also terrifying the kid, that he's trying to save. So he's like, maybe I need to rethink this whole setup. And then later on in the comic, when he meets up with Superman, he's softened his look a little bit. The cowl isn't as terrifying. Now he's got the boy Wonder with him. Mm-hmm. And Soups is like, hey, what's up with the kid? It's like, hey, man, we kind of found each other, And so it's kind of a nod to the old world finest comics when these three were, thick as thieves and doing all kinds of good stuff together. And
yeah.
I thought it was well done.
I did too.
And I was kind of going back trying to figure out where it was that I really got started with the whole, Robin thing. And I think for me it was definitely Super Friends cartoons on Saturday morning with a bowl of cereal. Mm-hmm. And watching the reruns of the 66 show. And, for me, some of my earliest toy memories, other than G.I. Joe and Fisher-Price Adventure People, was the Mego superheroes.
Yes.
Those were heavily inspired from the 66 show and then later the 77 New Adventures of Batman. Well, we got a healthy dose of Robin every week for several years there. And
I remember having the 77 cartoon show and the 66 live action show. The 66 live action show would come on at 6 o'clock in the morning. On Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be like catch that on Saturday, catch that on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. And then, when these started going into syndication, or I remember sometimes going over to like my uncle's house when I was a kid, and they'd be playing at all kinds of weird hours,
Yeah.
So just never knew when you'd catch stuff. But yeah, Robin was in the middle of all of that. So he was definitely a main character. Mm-hmm. And looking back at some of the toys that I remember, Mego was huge in the 70s.
I know I had Batman and Robin.
Yep.
I never got the Batmobile, but I had Batman and Robin.
I kind of was going through the Swiss cheese that is my memory, and it's like somewhere between like 1975, 76, I had gotten most of these. I remember the fist fighting, that was kind of their gimmick for a year, where they had kind of a switch in the back of the figure where you could actually get them to punch.
Right.
And there's only these four that they made. It was just Batman, Robin, Joker, and Riddler that had that feature. I think maybe they made some others later on, but those were the main ones. Yep. Yeah, I had all this stuff as a kid. Loved it. Even the wacky Volkswagen bus Joker mobile. It was fun. That was the whole thing. Everything was made to be fun.
Yeah, that's what I miss.
But yeah, a lot of this stuff. Price tag on these. I was going through Toy Collector's Guide to find some references, and he's got current prices. Finding a lot of these didn't survive our childhoods because of the cloth goods. They got shredded. So ones that are in good condition, you're going to pay a premium.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that Figures Toy Company and now Mego again have been reproducing some of these and
I've
adding
seen them,
characters that, yeah, we even got some stuff that never made it into the original line, which is cool.
Right, right.
But I haven't delved back into Mego. I'm challenged by trying to do more than another scale.
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember we'd had kind of a dead zone where there just wasn't a lot of superhero stuff on the shelves after Mego.
Yeah, when Mego went down, it was
like
like nobody wanted. It was like nobody wanted to touch it for a few years.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was. Plus, we never had that golden age again where Mego was able to have Marvel and DC and Star Trek and Planet of the Apes and a bunch of other stuff all in the same scale at the same time, so you could have all your heroes play together and villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, it's always been separate companies, separate scales, so it's been kind of frustrating. But when Superpowers came out, even though I was older and, chided a lot by my folks saying, you're too old for toys. It's like, it's freaking Batman. I'm not too old for Batman. I remember getting this with my, mowing lawn money, getting the Batmobile,
Right.
Batman and Robin. And I didn't care that, other kids were beyond, they were into video games and football and whatnot. And it's like, I'm still into superheroes. Sue me.
I did the same thing for Castle Grayskull.
Yeah. But again, Dick Grayson Robin was a cornerstone of that whole first wave of superpowers, and was still prominently featured in the Super Friends, which they kind of changed up. I can't remember which season it was, but they started doing the more superpower tie-in with Darkseid to sell toys. And it's like, cool with that.
Now the funny thing about Powers with me is I only saw them once. I got two
Really?
figures. I got two figures, Superman and Flash. And then I never saw them in stores again.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was in, I think I was in North Carolina. Dad was stationed at Camp Lejeune. And I remember it was either Kmart or there was a store there called Roses, which was kind of like a, pretty popular.
That was where I was at.
Yeah, and I remember coming in just one week with my folks, and there was this huge multicolored display of, they had like a whole palette of Batmobiles and the figures, and all the colors were there, and I'm just like, whoa. It was just awesome. So I think I had all of the first series. It took me like a whole summer to pick them up. But yeah, like the second series, the stuff with Darkseid, those were hard to get. And then I never saw the third series at all.
No, I think I did the second series once, but I was just like I kind of frustrated because I couldn't get the first series.
Yeah.
I never really dove that far into it.
Yeah, and back in those days, it's like we didn't have the internet. We didn't have any way to pick up stuff if you couldn't get it locally. Unless you got lucky and had a grandma or an aunt pick it up in another state or whatever. But yeah, if you didn't catch them the first time, you had to wait until you were an adult and then could try to track them down at flea markets or other places.
Precisely.
And even those days are numbered. I don't think you can find any really cool vintage stuff anymore without paying a premium because of scalpers and whatnot. There wasn't a thing like that when we were coming up.
Well, they didn't really have any value when they were coming up too.
Yeah, I mean, you figure what was vintage then was Mego, and you could still find those at a decent price for most of the 80s. But yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed Superpowers. And I think right after that, when we had the animated series come out, and we had a whole new toy line, Kenner jumped on that and did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I did not care for all the different multi-flavored, orange fluorescent Batman and yellow, and it sold figures, but it's like I just want them in their original costumes. And that first series, we got a really good Robin, and we got
that's I got that Robin and the Batman, and that's all I got in that series because I didn't want a million.
yeah.
Batmans.
But we did get we got the villains were pretty decent. I
Yeah,
didn't get this Robin Dragster, but I thought this was cool. But again, like you, it's like I don't remember seeing it in stores.
I never saw that in the store. I didn't know about that much later.
Because in the animated series, he always had a bat cycle. It's like
Right.
so, and even in the comics, usually he had his Robin cycle. He had a red, Kawasaki or something. It's like I don't know why they didn't give him a motorcycle.
No idea.
But it's cool. I like the colors. If I had, a little extra right now, I'd probably try to pick one up just to have a fun, cool, wacky vehicle on the shelf. But
Yeah.
That was a thing. And then, of course, we had the DC universe and everything that Mattel was doing for a couple years there. They gave us a really deep cut, great bunch of characters. They gave us a classic Robin head, which could have been Jason Todd if you squinted, but was supposed to be Golden Age Dick, and then a more traditional Dick Grayson. And then when Young Justice became a thing, they gave us this updated Dick Grayson that I thought was really cool. I'm sorry that line didn't go further.
That line was really cool. And yeah, I'm surprised it didn't go any further. I don't know if it had to do with series or.
Yeah, the animated series stuff from Superman was cool too.
Yeah, it was.
But again, they did the multi-flavored Superman in every suit except his blue Union suit for a while. It's just like, so some of that was kind of wonky. But yeah, I think Mattel did a really great job. They gave us characters I would have never expected: Jonah Hex, Doom Patrol, the Metal Men. I mean, they went deep.
So I had all those.
They're awesome. I still have that Robin. I've got most of the superheroes up on my shelf up there are all either DC Universe or the series that came right before that where they were just doing Batman and Superman.
I started to rebuild that collection, and Mattel got the license. I'm like going, okay, let me see what you do, Mattel, before I do anything else.
Yeah. And then Toddy Mack got it. Bless his heart. He just had to screw it up. His articulation's garbage. He made them 7-inch scales, and nothing would play with what you had if you bought the whole series with Mattel. He wanted you to buy all new. Granted, he's given a pretty good amount of different characters, including several Robins.
Right.
But
I've only picked up something I can put into a 6-inch line.
Yeah, I got his monsters were good for that. I picked up his Martian Manhunter because even though he's oversized, I can fudge him with my.
Plus, he's a shapeshifter, so.
Yeah, if he's a little bit bigger, it's okay. I keep him on a flight stand so you don't really see the scale difference. His Swamp Thing was really good.
Yeah, I have the Swamp Thing.
So I've got a smattering of them, but overall the articulation's goofy, and I'm happy to see him lose the license. I'm ready for Mattel to give us something better.
I can't say I'm mad he's losing line.
Yeah. This was a fun line too. I have this Batmobile. I got that set. I got that Joker and Harley Quinn. That was about all I got out of the series. But I love that Batmobile, man. It's got
that Batmobile's cool.
It's freaking huge. It's a shelf queen, but the style of it. I almost like this one better than the 89, and the 89's got a really great design. But there's something about that Art Deco kind of looks like it's still moving when it's standing still kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all engine.
Yeah, I got the one from the 66 that Todd did. And I've got Batman and Robin in it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that was the only. Was that? Yeah, that one was a 2-seater.
Yeah.
And the Dark Knight one he did, the Tumbler, I think he made a 2-seater as well.
Probably.
But yeah, this and the one from the 89 are probably my two favorite designs, other than like the classic blue Super Friends kind of style.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yep, our buddy Ian's got a lot of Superman stuff. He's more of a Superman fan. I get that. You know, we talked about that a little bit last week when we were talking about the Fleischer Superman, and I probably could do just a Superman display, regardless of scale, and just put all of one character together. And Ian's kind of like that. I get that. I'm tempted to pick up some new Superman stuff I've seen, but the wallet says no.
True enough. Like I said, still waiting on to see what they do with this stuff. Their kids stuff looks good.
Yeah, and you know, I get so aggravated. Toddy Mac finally gave us a classic Dick Grayson. Then he made it gold label, which makes it unattainable.
Right.
It seems like the only people that had it were scalpers, and then they jacked up the price 3 times on Evil Bay. So you couldn't get your hands on it. So it was very frustrating. You know, it's like this is a anchor quintessential character, and you don't make it wide distribution. What a jerk! So I was miffed, to say the least. I didn't get a hold of it.
I think Todd is trolling half of his audience.
It seems like it. So when I saw this is the only tease we've gotten from Mattel, and this is their kids line. But you know, right up front and center, there's Robin.
Yep.
So he's going to be in the first wave. So I'm hopeful. If the kids line starts like this, maybe the adult collector line will also follow suit, and we'll get a really good Robin in that.
But you know what's really amazing about this? Look these figures very closely. They're only $10.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And they've got decent articulation.
I mean, you could fit them in. I mean, it looks to me like you could fit them in with your Legends and be just fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is what I've wanted.
Yeah. I think from the rumors I've seen, Mattel is getting smart. They're streamlining their Masters of the Universe, their new DC Universe, and all of their boy toy type stuff into one scale. So they will be compatible with Marvel Legends, which is awesome. Right. It's like, that's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
Because I remember back in the day, they did 2 packs of Masters of the Universe and DC Universe, and they weren't the same scale. It just looked wonky. So it'd be nice to have them together in the same scale.
That was funny.
So I'm hopeful that we'll see something good out of Mattel. But another reason that I like Robin, and I think he is essential, is he's one of the few characters that DC actually allowed to mature and change and grow. You know, granted, he grew up very slowly compared to the amount of years he was in the comic. You know, like we say, he's as old as Batman, but we did get to see him go from Kid Sidekick and Teen Titan to, you know, more independent before, you know, he went on to become the Nightwing.
Right, eventually to lead the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
Not the Teen Titans, the Titans.
Right.
That's grown up.
But, yeah, there's some really cool concepts there, and they definitely did a good job with that. And I like the fact that we got to see him not just in the Bat titles, but also in Titans.
Yeah.
Where you see him with his peers, being a natural leader, taking what he learns from the Batman and what he learns from the other team dynamics and, you know, putting it to best use. So,
which was one I forgot about. That they had the Teen Titans grown up as the Titans. Yeah, which was it was not terrible, but not great.
Yeah, the TV show they did was god awful. So what was that on HBO Max or I don't remember who. Yeah, it was terrible. But in the comics, the problem I found was so many crises between Infinite and then Identity Crisis, which was kind of rough, but it moved the story along, changed some things. And then we had Infinite Crisis came next.
There was another crisis, and then there was Final Crisis.
0 Hour too.
And then Zero Hour.
Yeah, so it's like every
point.
Yeah, it's like after the first continuity change, it seemed like every 2-3 years they're just like, yeah, we'll just keep changing it until we figure it out.
Right.
So they really messed with Batman and Robin a lot because their golden age time was just basically erased after the first crisis, and then they kind of had to refigure how did they work into Titans and everything else. But there were still some good stories in there, and we'll talk about a few of those here with some of the retconned origins of the characters. But I'd say of all the different characters, Dick Grayson's probably the one that's been the most popular as going from Sidekick to his own solo character. Nightwing is every bit as popular as Batman, can hold his own in his own solo title or with the Titans.
Right.
And he's still part of the Bat family too.
And that brief time that he took over as Batman, nobody complained.
Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah.
And like Mudhorn Station here is saying, I didn't have a problem with the suits. The Titan series, when they did Dick Grayson Robin, they did the armored suit, then they showed his Nightwing suit, then they brought in Jason Todd, and it was just the writing was terrible.
I had a big problem with the first episode, and he said Batman.
Mm-hmm.
That bothered me.
Yeah, it's like, they had a troubled relationship, but it wasn't, I don't think it was that angsty. I mean, granted, it depends on who's doing the writing, but...
Especially when Batman actually shows up in the series, and it's not really that much conflict. We know.
Right. It's writers trying to make it sound edgy and not really understanding that F-bombs don't convey what good writing can.
And plus, how can you be mad at Jordan Mormont?
That's true.
Yeah.
I did like him as Bruce Wayne. I mean, Kevin Conroy's the GOAT, but he did,
When I saw him, I was like, you gotta be kidding. And then I was like, after I watched it, I was like, okay. He was like the highlight of the show.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen him more as, being an active Batman, not a semi-retired one. But but yeah, we had a lot of great Nightwing stories that came and built on some really good stuff that came before. So, and then of course, we talked about the early Super Friends and the Batman comics or cartoons, sorry, and yeah, we had this whole revival after Bruce Timm just kind of opened the floodgates with the animated series. We got a great Dick Grayson Robin there. In the later series, we got to see him evolve into Nightwing there. Teen Titans, Robin was on his own. You never saw Batman in that.
Right.
The Young Justice, they did a really good job showing the transition of Dick Grayson. First season was all about Dick Grayson Robin. And then I think season 2, they did a time skip, and then he's already Nightwing.
I've not seen season 2 long.
Yeah, I think I stopped at like season 3 because it just got hard to find. Because it was on Cartoon Network, and then it kind of, I don't know.
Didn't they wrap it up on Netflix or something?
I think so. It's like I remember it was weird. It shifted networks, and there was a big hiatus in between. Like, I think it was season 2 and season 3, or season 3 and 4.
Right.
Yeah, I lost track. It was a good story. I thought it was well done. I don't know why they had such problems getting it out and distributed in a regular way. But
yeah, I like the comic based it off. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah,
that was Tim Drake's Robin.
Yeah,
because Nightwing had long established as Nightwing at that point.
Right, and yeah, I enjoyed Young Justice because it was like, this isn't Teen Titans. This is something new. It's different. Impulse was fun, as your Kid Flash stand-in. You had Superboy instead of Speedy, although Speedy I think does show up eventually in there. But
right.
Yeah, so it was a good remix. It was a good way to introduce characters, and it
was written by Peter Dater, so that helped.
Yeah, his writing was really good in that. And the whole idea of them being a covert team working for the League, doing things the League couldn't be seen doing publicly, it was like, okay, And they even brought in the whole idea of the Outsiders. Remember Batman and the Outsiders?
Right, right.
Brought that concept in later series. I think with Nightwing leading that team.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, the Batman from 2004 on, I thought it was good. It just it didn't find an audience. Or
yeah.
It was.
You got me wanting to watch the rest of that series now.
I'd say at least the first couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's season 4 or 5 when Robin shows up. They actually introduced Batgirl first, which was kind of weird. But
That is strange.
it worked with the way they were doing the story. With Barbara Gordon being there, seeing the Bat, seeing him hanging out with her dad, and then later on, the whole circus tragedy finds, Dick Grayson coming into it. So it worked for the way they did it. It's like if you suspend continuity and all that and just say, okay, this is a whole different storyline.
Right.
It was pretty good. So it is a thing. But, Bruce Timm's work, I think, really gave a whole generation a new appreciation for Batman and Robin. The way we looked at Super Friends, a lot of kids now look at, the Bruce Timm work. And Robin was such a popular character.
Yeah,
the original series, they just wanted to have him as like cameos. It's like, this is an older Dick Grayson. He's already gone off to college. He's not going to be a part of the show all the time. By the time they came back, I think either the second or third season, WB said, more Robin. Actually put him in the title. And they changed it to The Adventures of Batman and Robin and made sure there was a Robin story every other week.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Am I still on? No, Largo's out. Yeah. I know I have. I'm talking to my wife, by the way. For anybody still watching. Oh, is that Largo?
Sorry about that. My power fluctuated here. And
I thought that happened because you kind of went dark right when you froze.
Yeah. I have a battery backup, but apparently it didn't keep the internet from wigging out for a minute. So apologies for that.
That's fine.
And, it changed my slides. So here's Robert's website for those who were curious. See if I can pull the slides back up.
Okay. Whoops.
Nope, that's not it. Yeah, still figuring out where all the buttons are on this thing.
New software.
It's a challenge. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. And okay, that's weird. I don't know why it glitched like that. Okay. So I'll see if I can figure out where we were in the slides. Yeah, we were a little further along than that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's definitely been a challenge.
I'm sure.
Even when I get the internet working, now I've got problems with the power company. So it's not one thing; it's another. They're doing some new construction behind us here, and every once in a while they'll hit a line or they'll do something goofy, and it's just.
I think we were here.
Yeah, we were just talking about this one here.
Right.
But yeah, I liked the way they did Dick Grayson in this. I even
I
liked,
did too.
when it got into the further adventures, they showed the transition where he and Batman had a falling out. He quits being Robin, then he comes back as Nightwing. It was good. It was good stories, well written, and you actually cared about the characters.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like you said, with Peter David writing. That's why I liked Young Justice. We got a younger Dick Grayson, but he's definitely, chip off the old bat. He's got the detective skills. He's a natural leader, and you see him progress into Nightwing. And I really liked where they made a point in the story of, Wonder Woman brings up. He's like, Shazam, they found out, was a kid who turned into an adult. It's like, well, you brought Robin in at what? He was like 9. He's like, yeah. He's like, why did you wanted him to turn out just like you? And Batman's like, no, I did it so he wouldn't turn out like me. It's like if I didn't, yeah, it's like if we didn't give him this opportunity to deal with his grief and anger, who knows how he would have turned out. It's like he needed Robin just as much as Batman needed Robin.
Exactly.
But I'm not sure where you can see this now. I have it on DVD, at least the first 2 seasons.
That's why you should own it on DVD because you never know where you're going to find it.
Exactly. Well worth a watch. At least the first couple seasons. I would definitely recommend it to anybody if they haven't seen it.
I will try to hunt down this weekend and just try to finish it off because I got partway. I went through season 1 and then I missed season 2 and
yeah,
I still have the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I haven't seen the last season. I don't even know where they are in the seasons now. I remember the first 3.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's confusing is if you don't see it sequentially, each season has a time jump.
Right.
So when you go from season 1 to season 2, several years have passed. So you get lost if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
But all in all, if you can get them all collected and see them in sequence, it's a good story. But again, I like this Robin design. It was very up to date, but it still, evoked the idea of the classic Robin, but still incorporated elements from, the Tim Drake designs. Just like what they did with the Batman the Animated Series. It was pretty much the Tim Drake style suit, but it was Dick Grayson.
And I thought that was a smart redesign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin, he needs pants. He does.
Well, there's that. I mean, it was a different age, and it didn't age well.
Right. And people didn't connect with the whole circus acrobat thing as much. But let's talk about just some actual tactical reasons for having Robin around. I tried putting some notes together. It's like, why would Batman have this brightly colored, loudmouth, irritating sidekick? It's like, tactically it makes sense for diversion and distraction. He was the target. He would literally draw a fire or draw attention, so they didn't see Batman's right hook coming. They're too busy dealing with this loudmouth, bright colored kid. So, other than being a target, he also helped with, the team dynamics. Whether you look at some of the crazy choreography we got with Batman 66, where, they definitely played off each other. And so their fighting style as two together made sense, So
yeah, there's some fun.
Yeah, some of those
series.
Oh, those fight scenes. Those were fun. Although I think my favorite was when Robin and Kato, Bruce Lee, ended up squaring off. That was a fun one.
Right.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall when Burt Ward is, standing there with Bruce Lee going, Can you make it look like I'm still actually trying to do something and you're not just totally kicking my butt? Because, Burt Ward was not a trained fighter like Bruce Lee. No. But, two's better than one. That definitely enhanced their crime fighting capabilities. Robin had complementary skills. His acrobatics is something Batman didn't necessarily possess. He had some gymnast abilities, but Robin was good at evasive tactics, and taunting villains actually got him distracted so Batman could do what he needed to do.
Right,
and, they could cover more ground and do different things together, so it made sense, I thought. And then, the psychological impact. A lot of writers have addressed this. Robin was the symbol of hope. Batman was the dark, brooding avenger. Robin was, the lighter side.
Right.
And not only did he help with Batman's PR to keep the cops from going after him, it definitely helped with a lot of different storylines where a lighter touch or more levity was needed. Robin could step in. And as we saw with the whole drama with Jason Todd and Timothy Drake, the moral compass. When Batman gets deep into it, sometimes this darker side is more prevalent. And, when he was partnered with Robin, he would keep him from going too far in one direction.
Right.
And Bruce, before Robin, was a loner. He didn't like working with others. He barely tolerated dealing with, the Justice League. He begrudgingly worked with Superman occasionally, at least in the newer post-crisis continuities, when he was more dark and grim. But, with Robin with him, he was more open to teamwork.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing that writers still work with is the idea of legacy. Training Robin, his surrogate son, gave him a way to say, somebody's got to take over for us when we're too old to do this thing. So he was not necessarily training him to take over the mantle of the Bat, but he wanted a guardian for Gotham, and he knew, Dick was going to be it, no matter what he called himself.
Right.
So, this is before the whole Bat family exploded, and we've got like 20 different, Batgirls and Robins running around.
Yeah.
But, the leadership skills that he gained from working with the Bat definitely showed in what he did with the Titans, and eventually in the Justice League.
Right.
Because he actually became a League member in one of the different timelines. I'm not sure where we are now. I've lost track of continuity. They've changed it so much.
I can't tell you anything about DC currently because it's just I'm confused.
Yeah, me too. It got weird. It got really weird after, what was the last time I was reading was around the Rebirth era, when that first kicked off.
That's
and then, yeah.
When they tried to wasn't that when they tried to make Green Arrow more like the TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
They kind of lost me when they did that.
Yeah. There were several missteps made.
And I actually liked the Arrow TV show, at least the first three seasons.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. The same with the Flash, but it was, more teen drama with costumes. But, it was a thing. It was more soap opera. But, those are my thoughts on why Robin actually makes sense. And I don't know why he gets such a bad rap sometimes with people that are just like, Batman doesn't need sidekicks. Like, yeah, he kind of does. He needs a team.
Yeah.
He's never alone. He's always got Alfred. People totally underestimate how much Alfred is essential to what the Bat does. Exactly. Somebody has to sew him up. Somebody has to sober him up when he's, beat to snot. Make sure he's got his coffee and all that good stuff. So
bring in his cover stories.
Yeah.
Yes, he was playing polo yesterday.
Yeah, vicious polo attack. You know, he fell off his horse and
Right,
yeah.
right.
Holy sidekicks, Batman! It's Gogitron.
Hey, Goji.
Good to see you, buddy. So, in keeping with our theme, I thought we'd talk about a comic book that is near and dear to my heart. One I think Robert may also enjoy.
This is a good one.
From a series that I've collected for many years when it first came out. It was one of the first new Batman series that wasn't detective or just the, lone titled Batman. Batman Chronicles was a great, I would almost say kind of like an anthology, because they would just take stories from different eras of the Batman's career. And this was a place to tell those stories outside of continuity.
Yeah.
So
It was a good idea because sometimes getting out of continuity is refreshing.
yeah, so they could tell stories from a different time period and not have to worry about how it linked up with other stuff. And that's kind of what we got with the Gauntlet. So first came out in 97. And it is basically Dick Grayson's first trial in uniform. So he hasn't officially gone on patrol with Batman yet, but he's been training for a while. So this is where Bruce says, okay, here's the Gauntlet. It's like a big game of hide and seek. You've got until sunrise. I don't catch you, then you succeed in your mission. So he leads him on a merry chase all over Gotham, and, nothing's ever easy in Gotham. So while he's doing his mission and trying to avoid being caught by the Bat, he ends up stumbling right in the middle of a major problem with one of the crime families in Gotham, and ends up collecting a piece of evidence that the gangsters and goons are trying to get from him before he can get it to Captain Gordon, because he wasn't commissioner yet. But good artwork, good story, and this kind of works as a springboard into other stories of the early years of the Batman. So the characters, the mob bosses in this story, link right into the next piece, which is Robin Year One. So this picks up right at the end of what happened in the Gauntlet.
And I've only read pieces of it. I've not read the whole.
Yeah, and again, really good storyline. Chuck Dixon, Scott Beatty, yeah.
I think that's his name, yeah.
Great writing. The art style to me was very similar to what we saw with the animated series. So it's more streamlined. I kind of like this style, and it definitely works for the story. So, excuse me. Pardon me. But, yeah, so after the Gauntlet, he's gone on patrol. He's introduced to Captain Gordon. And, at first Gordon thinks, is this your son? What's the deal here? And it's like, well, kind of, sort of. He's my partner. But really does a good job of going into the dynamic of, this teenager, because he's, the budding edges of becoming a teen, dealing with all the the angstiness of being a teenager, growing up, and being a superhero. He defeats a couple of low-level thugs and supervillains pretty easily, because he does have skills.
Right.
So he gets a little cocky after dealing with the Mad Hatter and a few other lower-level guys. He ends up going up against Two-Face and gets his clock cleaned and gets humbled.
I do remember that.
But yeah, so again, really good story, good artwork, definitely a good one that I would recommend. It delves into more of where I think Batman works best, when he's dealing with mob bosses, lower level Gotham City crime, and the occasional supervillain.
Right,
You know,
right.
it's not all cosmic adventures. I don't like it when Batman goes up against Darkseid or other. It's like, come on, that's not where he lives.
True
So,
enough.
Yeah, having him in the thick of the underground of Gotham makes more sense. That's where the character works.
Right, right.
So after Robin Year One, you could say, oh, I've got a couple of the art pieces here from the covers, because it's just really great, great artwork. I really like the way they did this.
This artwork is really nice.
And unlike other comics, they're very. It's more classical. You know, they don't do anything crazy with the characters or the villains. You know, they are slightly stylized, but you know who they are.
Right, right.
Some of the newer stuff, you know, they do total redos of the villains. It's like they're barely recognizable. But Year One was a thing for a while in comics, both Marvel and DC. It was like everybody had a Year One. Green Lantern, Flash, everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a good story for Batman, so I understand why they did it.
Well, and with all the continuity changes, they kind of had to.
Right.
You know, you keep retconning everybody. You've got to retell their origin to make it fit with whatever timeline we're in now.
Exactly.
But if you like the Chuck Dixon flavor of writing, he also did treatments for Batgirl, and then also did Nightwing, where we see the transition of Robin to Nightwing. And again, same or similar art style, great storytelling. All three of these, I think, you could put together as one story and have a really good Bat family kind of run.
Right.
There was one other, I don't know if this has ever been collected in anything, but there was another issue of Batman Chronicles where we had an Oracle Year One, which basically picks up with Barbara Gordon shortly after the Killing Joke, and she's been injured by the Joker. And her transition of, I'm no longer Batgirl, what am I? And then becoming Oracle.
Yeah, I do remember that.
So it was kind of a one-shot story. It's definitely worth a read if you can find it. But
it is pretty good.
They just recently, I think, 2024 this came out. They just put out a box set collection, and decent price. You get all three of them. You get Robin, Batgirl, and Nightwing Year One.
Nice.
Definitely worth putting on the shelf. And you could actually put this in between, you know, if you're looking for a chronology of early Batman, you could go Frank Miller's Batman Year One, go into Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and then pick up right here. And pretty much covers the whole early years of the Bat.
Yeah, that is good.
So definitely some fun stuff. So hopefully there's some good reading recommendations for any folks that are out there interested in getting brushed up on their Robin. There are a couple of other honorable mentions here. We talked about Long Halloween, Dark Victory, of course, being the sequel to that. If you wanted to consider that your Bat canon, that would definitely fit in with everything else. You could put Dark Victory right in front of, you know, the Gauntlet and then Robin Year One, and it would totally fit. Robin does show up in Dark Victory, but it's more of a side story. He's just kind of there at the very tail end. But the story itself is a really great continuation of what happened with the Long Halloween, the Holiday Killer, all the stuff going on with the crime families, the Maronis, the Falcones. It's just good Batman stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the Tim Sale art style, but I'll deal with it because I like the story.
Yeah, Tim Sale is like to me is like when he's good, but when he's not, he's not.
Yeah, it's kind of hit or miss. And with these books, it's kind of like that. It's like it's not terrible, but it's not my first choice. Not my favorite type of art.
Right.
These other two I have not read, but I've heard good things. Robin and Batman was like a 3-issue short series that just kind of talk about, it's kind of a reimagining after one of the many retcons. And the same with Mark Waid's Batman and Robin Year One. That one, I love the art style. And I'm hopeful because I like Mark Waid's writing. So it might be really good. It's been out for a while now.
I've heard good things about that one just because it's Mark Waid.
Exactly. It has been collected, so I might try to get the graphic novel collection of it and check it out.
Cool.
So apparently that one picks up with, I don't know which continuity we're on now, but after the Dark Knight Metal thing and I don't even know what iteration of the universe, Infinite Frontier or something. So basically the reason that they tapped Waid to do this was because they did make some other retcons after whatever the most recent Crisis was. So this is a retelling to fit in with the new continuity. But it definitely takes, character cues from other stories that come before. So it's just kind of a polish of some of those. So I'll check it out. I'm hopeful. But I haven't read a lot of modern DC because they've just done some weird stuff.
Yeah, the retcons get to you after a while. I mean, there's still some good stuff in there. It's just, man, it gets so confusing.
Yeah, and even with DC, if you look at their sales, people are buying the old stuff. They're not buying the new novels of Watchmen and either pre-crisis or just post-crisis good storytelling, or things that are out of continuity like Superman, All-Star Superman, or Superman for All Seasons, which were just kind of standalone stories. But I think Mark Waid's doing something else here.
Okay.
That, I'm hopeful. In some of the newer iterations of the comics, Mark Waid has brought back World's Finest. And it's going back to Silver Age stuff.
Good.
The art is good, and within this story we see another, not so much a retelling of the origin, but we see the young days of Dick Grayson Robin and his time forming the Teen Titans. And so World's Finest, I've heard good things about it again. I'm shy because of some of the new continuity twists they've made, but this seems to be hitting... they're starting to listen to the fans and say, bring back the stuff we actually like and quit all this experimental crap.
Jim Lee's good.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Exactly. And I like his art style, but I do not like his direction.
I like Jim Lee's art. I do argue that a lot of the bad decisions in DC have been Jim Lee.
Yeah, and his predecessor with Jeff Johns.
Yeah, Jeff Johns.
Again, he did some great things with Green Lantern, and even with some of the things he did with, I think he had his hands in the rebirth for the Flash as well, Barry Allen Flash. But
not to get too big in the weeds in this, but just because you're a good creator does not mean you're a good executive.
Right. Yeah, and when you're in the publisher's seat, you definitely need to direct better. So both of those guys, while I like what they did when they were artists, when they got into leadership roles, I think they kind of fell short and disappointing. But like I say, with Mark Waid's new stuff with World's Finest, there's also been a spin out of this of a new Teen Titans. That is a new retcon with the original team, plus some new members that make sense. It might be worth checking out. Might be time to go back and see if DC's got their act together. One can hope.
Yeah, we can hope.
But my dogs are freaking out. I got somebody coming to the door, I think. But I'm going to do a be right back and go check on them. And I think my wife just came home.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Oops, sorry, I'm back. What happened to my sound?
Sorry, that was me. I always forget to unmute my mic when I get.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was the whiff. The dogs always freak when they hear the sound of the truck. They know that engine and their thing. So yeah, they've quieted down because Mama's home and they know it's treat time. So it's a thing.
It's exactly.
Do you have you got mutts at the house?
I've got one that decided to move in.
They were like that.
Yeah. He just showed up yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Neighborhood dog or?
I'm thinking someone abandoned her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We get that here too. There's a lot of street dogs here where people like using dogs as alarm systems. Mm-hmm. So they'll just get a dog and barely feed them, barely take care of them. They just want them to mind the property. They don't really pay attention to them. And two of mine are rescued from that. So I've got 3 here, and then I also help take care of a friend of mine who has 6 at another house while they're working out of the country. So
we're trying to bird around locally just to say, hey, we found this dog. If it belongs to anybody in the neighborhood, just speak up.
Yeah, so hopefully somebody will claim her. But they're good company. Dogs just want attention. They like having a human around.
Exactly.
So let's see where we left off. We're about wrapping up on this, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, just an FYI to folks, if you haven't found this podcast, I highly recommend it. You know,
I'm going to check this out after this.
Yeah, and it's actually officially done by DC. It's part of their channel. And again, there's a link in the description of this stream, so you can check it out. They're full voice cast with music and sound effects. It's like a radio show. It's a weekly podcast called High Volume Batman. And it goes through the career of Batman from Frank Miller's Year One, diving into The Long Halloween, Dark Victory, the Robin the Gauntlet we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. I think Killing Joke's in there, but they try to put it chronologically. So they take these great older stories that are classics now,
right,
and put them in there as they would make sense for his career from early days through his time with Robin, and then Batgirl and Oracle and Nightwing and all that good stuff. So I've listened to about half of them so far. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy them. They're great, especially if you just want something on in the background. It's like listening to old-timey radio stuff, but it's Batman.
Cool.
So it's well done. There's even a couple of interviews in between with the voice actors talking about their love for the characters, their love for the stories, why they make certain choices they do for how they do these audio dramas. So definitely one I recommend, and a great way to be introduced to some of these stories if you haven't already checked them out. Speaking of people to check out, there's Mr. Wonderful. Good to see you, Travis.
Hey.
How you doing? Just talking about some cool storylines. So, yeah, definitely check that out in the description. It's worth a listen. And also, another resource that I've been using as I was putting stuff together. Yeah, here's some of the stories that I've been listening to this week. And, yeah, they're really well done. But if you want to do some reading and you don't have access to a comic shop, which I don't always because of where I live, there's a place called zipcomic.com, and they have over 9,000 different comic books, every genre. They got some manga, they got DC, Marvel, and several of the off-brand types. some from the Silver Age, Bronze Age, and modern. So, again, there's a link in the description of this. It's just a free website. You can go and read them there, and you can even download and read them at your leisure at another time if you wish. And if I can get my screen to work, I'll try to pop open and share some of that. But after my power outage, it kind of knocked a few things loose. So
no.
let me see if I can get it to share here. Again, trying to figure out all these new buttons.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's fighting me a little bit. Come on. Okay. There we go. Now it's trying to do it. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is zipcomic.com. As you can see, I've got the gauntlet pulled up. And you just log in. It's free. You don't have to have a account or anything. You just look up the comic you're looking for, and all the pages have been scanned in, and really good stuff. Great color, and
Nice.
it's a nice way to check out some comics if you don't already have them, and maybe even a little try before you buy. You could check them out this way and then decide you definitely want to add these to your library. So definitely something to consider.
I like it.
Oh, Travis says he saw your video today about Target. Really enjoyed that. Very cool.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's a sign of the times. We're definitely seeing some stuff
We're in the
going
middle
on.
of change.
So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. So that's about it, I think, for what I had. Yeah. So we'll wrap up with a little drinking and thinking. I'll ask a question of our very sparse audience. It's hard to find the right time to find people. Since I took my hiatus and came back, I'm just having a heck of a time.
There really isn't anymore.
So, yeah, I may just go back to just doing my regular pre-filmed videos, because doing lives, it's just, kind of tough to ask the audience anything if there's no audience there. So
Yeah, exactly.
but we'll persevere with this one, because I think I know your answer, but we'll see what everybody else has to say about it. I'm going to stop sharing the screen here because it's yelling at me. It's like, yes. Okay. So, the question is, should Robin be in Batman Part 2? I say yes. The whole shebang did a video on it. They say yes. A lot of folks online say, yeah, it's time. It's time to do a serious Robin story. He doesn't have to be a goofy sidekick like they did in the 60s.
And
I think
I feel like it's the theme of the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I like what they're trying to do with Matt Reeves' take on the detective, the Batman, and it could work. I mean, they almost kind of gave us a little Easter egg with I don't know if he was the mayor's kid, but the one at the funeral when he kind of makes eye contact with Bruce Wayne, and then the Batman ends up saving him. But yeah, I say Robin should be in the next Batman movie. He's essential to the story. He definitely he needs to bring Bruce out of the dark place. He's just now learning he can't just be vengeance. He's got to be more. And I think going through and doing the whole Tony Zuko and the Haley's circus and all that, you could make it work. That could definitely be a good subplot to whichever villain they're going to bring in.
Yeah, and I felt like that's where they were going. We're going movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that would be a perfect how shall we say, continuation of it.
Yeah, it would be. I think Reeves can do it. He can write it in a way that'll make sense.
Right.
And you don't have to have an older character, but he doesn't have to be a 9-year-old, but somewhere young teen with skills.
Yeah.
Even looking at the Golden Age Robin, he'd already learned some judo, not just trapeze skills and gymnastics. He had some skills even before Batman started training him. So
right.
You could definitely make that work.
I think absolutely.
Hopefully, maybe you guys watch this on the replay. Let us know what you think in the comments, and maybe we can have a conversation about that in the future. Again, like Ian from Mudhorn Station was saying earlier, they got the costume right in the Titan show. I think the updated costume looked better than what we got with the Batman Forever look.
Yeah.
As far as doing the costuming and the tactical, updates, Hollywood got that right. Whoever's doing their costume designs for the MCU and the DC universe, for the most part, I think they're doing well. It's just they need somebody who can write a script.
That is so true.
So, for whatever reason, it's been a challenge. And now, with the acquisition of Warner Brothers, Gunn might be out, Snyder might be back. Maybe somebody else will jump in. I just hope they leave Matt Reeves alone and let him do what he wants to do with the Batman, because it wasn't a perfect film, but it had a lot of good points. Penguin was a surprise. In how well they did that. So
well, I think it's locked that we're going to get more Matt Reeves.
At least. Yeah. I'd like to see him do a trilogy, but hopefully we'll get at least the one more. Yeah, even Mego Robin had a better outfit than Chris O'Donnell. I don't know what Schumacher had with bat nipples. Nipples on the costume. That was so wrong.
That was wrong.
But, yeah, that's about all I got tonight. That's it for me. That is a wrap.
Indeed.
Anything you want to plug for upcoming Nerd Apocalypse, or any thoughts on what we went over tonight?
Trying to think if there's anything special on Nerd Apocalypse this week. I don't think there's anything super spectacular, but it'll be fun anyway. I'm working on a video for I got the race here.
Oh, nice.
Working on a video.
Cool.
Yeah. Can't think of anything off the head.
Fair enough. Ian saying the Pattinson was a revelation. He was prepared to hate the film, but found that he did a pretty good job. It's like once you get past the whole Twilight thing, he's actually a decent actor. He just needs a good script in front of him.
Yeah, there's a film with him and Willem Dafoe in a lighthouse.
The Lighthouse. I can't remember the name of it. Really good, kind of a psychological horror. That was great.
That was really good.
He was even decent in Tenet. Tenet was a confusing film, but I think he did a good job.
No, I actually forgot he was in it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But, not the best, but certainly not the worst.
Well, his career's going better than Stewart.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah, Hollywood's in trouble, that's for sure. But hopefully we'll get some decent opportunities for some good filmmakers to come in and shine. Maybe we'll see some independent works that are outside of Hollywood that will...
there was one movie called Iron Lung.
Yeah.
That people say was really good.
It's based on some sort of horror video game. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the original material, but yeah, it was done by an independent guy. He collected the money and put it all together, and maybe we'll see more like that. Passion projects could save entertainment. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and there was another one that came out this week. Hail Mary. That one's getting real good reviews.
Yeah, I heard it was a really good book. And
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling's done some decent stuff. I like the one he did with guy that played in Gladiator, Russell Crowe. He did a kind of a buddy cop or buddy detective movie with him that was pretty good. So he can act. So,
But yeah, already we got like two really good ones, and so of course we have to get through Cersei Academy.
oh Lord, yeah, what a train wreck.
Light on again.
I'm hopeful with Paramount redirecting things, and now with Warner Brothers under their belt, maybe they'll cut the fat, and we'll actually get a true to form, old school Star Trek. Maybe they'll just revamp the whole thing.
Yeah.
One can hope, because I liked the original series. I liked Next Generation, and some of Deep Space Nine was pretty good. After that, it just kind of went off a cliff. Enterprise kind of hit or miss, but
Yeah, I mean, it's, even as rough as I found Voyager to be, it was a lot, 10 times better than modern stuff.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, again, Robert, thanks for hanging out. We've been here for about an hour and a half. Probably call it good. Sadly, I don't think people know where to find us right now because we're kind of all over the place. We'll try some different times to figure out when the audience is available. We'll try some different things like this. We can bring in some guests. But if this just isn't working anymore, I'll just go back to doing my feature videos like I used to do. I've got a couple scripts in mind. I just need to buckle down and do it. But I wanted to try to kind of get back into lives and see if we can make that work. But man, it's a little discouraging because, like you say, there's something on every night and all kinds of stuff going on. So it's kind of hard to figure out where to fit in.
Right, exactly.
But I'll play us out. Everybody, have a good night. If you catch it on the replay, put something in the comments. Give us a shout out. Let us know if there's a different time or day that we could do this that might work for everybody. But have a good one. We'll see you.